What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nasho. Welcome back to the channel. And yeah, you see the book. You see the book, and that can only mean one thing. NXT Premium Live Event Predictions, everybody. But this one is for Vengeance Day, for this Saturday on Peacock live from Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City. I'm gonna be honest. Looking at this card, I think honestly, this could very may well be a historic night. And I'm not saying that because of the fact that, because of the fact that this is the first time in well over 3 years that NXT is going back on the road, but it's mainly because of the fact that this is arguably the biggest. This is going to be one of the biggest events in NXT history that wasn't Stand and Deliver, because you guys know with NXT Stand and Deliver they go balls fucking deep, and this one might not be so different. It might not be so different, but with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video and you guys want to see more premium live event predictions and results in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button, and don't forget to follow me on my social media, both of my Twitter accounts and my single Instagram. Yes, I know what you're thinking. 2 Twitter accounts. Is one fake? Is one real? What's going on? Both Twitter accounts are 100% real and they are mine. Still trying to get verified though, of course, but they are mine. And of course, the one Instagram is indeed mine. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. If you guys want to send me fan mail, and you guys want to see me open it up on the channel, the info will be in the description as well. We are going to kick things off with a match that was recently announced within the last couple weeks. It is a match for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Hang on a second. Hang on a second, my brother just texted me. Hang on a second, guys. Hang on, guys. I'm texting my brother right now, and I'm trying to explain what's going on with, what happened with NXT and the USA app. Basically, apparently the USA Network app kept going from NXT to Law and Order SVU for some reason. Luckily, I was able to finish up the show on the laptop instead of the Fire Stick. So, hopefully USA Network gets all of that fixed. I don't know if it's the bugs. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there, but with that being said, anyway, where was I? Oh, right. The NXT Women's Tag Team titles will be defended this Saturday, as Kaden Carter and Katana Chance will be defending their titles against a very odd team of Kiana James and Fallon Henley. Excuse me. 2 women who literally were beating the living hell out of each other just a few weeks ago over who was gonna take control of the bar. But now they have a common enemy in the Women's Tag Team Champions, and I'm gonna be honest, this is a bit of an odd one, because earlier tonight on NXT, apparently Kiana told somebody on the phone quote, "I love you too." But here's my question. Who could she be talking about? Who exactly could she be talking about? And from what I remember, I believe she called him, what, Jack or something like that? Something like that. I don't know what the hell. But, yeah, it was a bit of an odd one. But honestly, this is going to be a very odd matchup, because when you really think about it, when you have two people who are in a tag team that really just despise each other, it usually doesn't work so well, unless if they have a mutual respect for one another. Then that's one thing. You know, guys like oh. Oh, right. My brother is asking me what's going on for tomorrow. Why I'm posting tomorrow's video today, and I'm gonna explain that a little rest. I do need a little rest, but for the most part, I got some other business to attend to, unfortunately. Anyway, honestly, as much as I would like to see Kiana James and Fallon Henley pick up the victory and become champions, I don't see it happening anytime soon. I'm just gonna get right to it. Chance and Carter are gonna retain the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, but from there, hang on a second, guys. My eraser is trying to erase something on this book. Apparently, it's not working. Well, it's working, but not the way I want it. Not the way I was hoping. Anyway, next up we move on to a very weird match based on who deserves to be the #1 contender for the NXT title. Carmelo Hayes and Apollo Crews. Obviously, both men have scored a pinfall over each other, but it all comes down to this Saturday. A simple 2 out of 3 falls matchup, and I'm gonna be honest. This is something that this is a match that actually honestly a part of me has been wanting to see for a while, because yes, I mean, yeah, it's true that both of these men did pick up a victory over the other, but the problem was that they weren't instant classics, you know? They weren't like 5-star match, 4-star matches. They were more like 3-star matches, if you will. But this 2 out of 3 falls match, I can guarantee you is going to be an instant classic, in my honest opinion. Despite Trick Williams at ringside, I've got no doubt in my mind this is going to be an instant classic. But if I had to predict who wins, I think, honestly, it comes down to who wants it more. Who wants to become NXT champion more? And whoever wins this one could very may well be next in line to challenge for the NXT title, depending on who wins the steel cage match, which I'll get to that later on in this video. I think the first fall will definitely have to go to Carmelo Hayes, just because of the fact that he's a lot quicker than than Apollo Crews. He's a lot more agile than Apollo Crews. So I think the first fall will definitely go to Carmelo Hayes, and then the second fall will go to Apollo Crews, and I think the third fall, if I had to predict, I would say Carmelo Hayes. I think with how far he's come since losing the NXT North American title to Wes Lee, I think he's come such a long way that he could potentially be the guy to take the NXT title off of Braun Breaker. But it all depends. Again, it depends on who wins the steel cage match at Vengeance Day. So with that being said, again, I think Carmelo Hayes has what it takes. Then again, Apollo Crews, he can foresee the future. So I don't know, guys. I don't know, but I think it's gonna be Carmelo Hayes. But with that being said, we move on to the second of 5 title matches that we have on the card. It is the New Day defending the NXT Tag Team titles against Gallus members Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, Pretty Deadly, and now we know, as we saw earlier tonight on NXT, Chase U will be in the Fatal 4-Way. Originally, it was supposed to have been a triple threat, but it now becomes a Fatal 4-Way, and we had a triple threat match earlier tonight on NXT that was between Schism's Dyad, Chase U's Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, as well as the team of Adrian Enofe and Malik Blade. Non-stop action with that one. Chase U ended up taking home the W, and now it is a Fatal 4-Way match between the New Day, Gallus, Pretty Deadly, and Chase U. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest here. In this scenario, Chase U is coming into this match as the underdogs, because when you really think about it, Duke Hudson, he's had opportunities at Championship Gold. He's had an opportunity at the NXT title. He's had opportunities at the NXT Tag Team titles when he once teamed up with Dexter Lumis at some point last year. Not only that, but I believe this is Andre's first title opportunity, actually, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I believe so. Yeah, I think so. I think this is Andre's first title opportunity ever in NXT, which is pretty cool. But as far as Pretty Deadly and Gallus goes, people forget that Gallus are the longest reigning NXT UK Tag Team Champions of all time, holding on to the titles for a pretty long time. Let me see here. Did Gallus hold the... And if I remember correctly, yep, yeah, almost 500 days, 3 days shy of 500, 497 days, which was an amazing run, over a year and a half as champions, which is incredible. Before losing the titles to Pretty Deadly, unfortunately, and I believe Pretty Deadly held the titles for 287 days, and if I remember correctly, if I'm right on this, I believe the New Day, they are now in, I believe, they're still, I believe they're now, what, 40 some days or something like that, almost 2 months as NXT Tag Team Champions, so that's a pretty long time. So this is a bit of an interesting dilemma, because when you really think about it, New Day have held Tag Team Gold. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I believe, let's see, if I remember correctly, other than holding on to the Raw tag team titles for 483 days, they have had a combined well over 1,500 days as tag team champions across Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, which is incredible. Let's see. Let's see here. So across all the members of the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Woods, both Kingston and Big E have held the WWE title one time. So technically, they're combined two-time WWE champion, which is kind of hilarious. The Raw tag team titles held it 4 times, which is amazing. 4-time Raw Tag Team Champions, 7-time SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the current NXT Tag Team Champions, Woods winning the King of the Ring tournament. Just amazing. Triple Crown Tag Team Champions, which is insane. There is no telling how far these guys are willing to go. But if I remember correctly, I think I should have put overall. Nope, that didn't work out. Okay. Yes, alright, yeah, so basically basically the New Day are now 12-time tag team champions, which is amazing. But with this matchup, with this fatal 4-way, it comes down to who wants it more. New Day, Gallus, Pretty Deadly, or Chase U, and I think the one team that needs it more than anything has to be Chase U, because when you really think about it, Chase U, they've been together for a minute, but couldn't reach that pinnacle, couldn't reach the top of the top of the NXT tag team division, and I think they desperately need this win, but I really don't think they're gonna pull it off, because the New Day. Here's the thing, New Day have been around for a very long time. Almost, I think, what? I think it'll be 10 years this coming fall, actually. So 10 years. 10 years this coming fall, and they've been through a hell of a lot. So with the experience they have together, I've got no doubt in my mind that the New Day are going to be able to pull it off. But if I had to pick a team that wasn't the New Day, Gallus Boys on top. I'm sticking with Gallus because I think it's gonna be Gallus Boys back on top for the first time in a very long time. So I'm sticking with Gallus. But of course, knowing the New Day, anything is possible. But we now move on to the NXT North American title between Wes Lee, the champion, and Dijak, the challenger. And the thing about Dijak is that the last time that Dijak had challenged for the NXT North American title, think about this, guys, was at NXT TakeOver Portland, which was the last time that NXT was on the road before COVID struck. Think about that. That was what, 3 years ago? 3 years ago. And now Dijak has his first opportunity at the NXT North American title since coming back to NXT. And the thing about this is that Dijak is challenging arguably one of the most unique individuals in NXT in Wesley, a man who you know, over the last, you know, couple years, he's had, you know, the last year or so, he's had arguably one of the most rockiest of roads and you know, any one person could ever have in professional wrestling. And you know, it started with him, you know, with his best friend Luke, you know, being fired from WWE for obvious reasons. Which I think I brought that up on the channel in a previous video. I could be wrong, but you know, having a downward spiral and now becoming North American champion and have held the title for this long, that's quite the feat. In fact, if I remember correctly, Wesley has held the NXT North American title for right now, as of right now, 91 days, and it's counting. So by this Saturday, he'll have held the title for 95 days, which I believe, the longest reigning NXT North American champion is funny enough, Adam Cole. Adam Cole held, or actually the North American title. I believe the longest reigning champion here we are. Maybe Wikipedia might be able to help me out. So right now, as I'm recording this video, I believe the longest reigning NXT North American champion ever of all time is, looking on Wikipedia, I believe is the Velveteen Dream, who held the title for 209 days, or actually overall 231 days, but WWE has recognized it as 209 days. So the longest reigning champion is obviously the Velveteen Dream. But truth be told, Wesley could potentially break that record, which is a possibility. But of course you got Dijak, and Dijak is a big dude. He's a big dude. So I don't know. Wesley's gonna have quite the task on his hands. But if anybody can pull it off, it's gonna be Wesley. But Dijak, he's back, meaner, badder, and more hungrier than ever before. I think Dijak might take the title. But we now move on to the main event, which will be for the NXT title inside a steel cage. Yes, we still have the NXT Women's title to talk about, but this match is going to be the main event. Braun Breaker, the champion, Grayson Waller, the challenger, in a rematch from NXT New Year's Evil, where we saw Grayson Waller get counted out because of the ring ropes. So this time, there ain't gonna be no bullshit. There ain't gonna be no fucking bullshit. Inside a steel cage, Grayson Waller, Braun Breaker for the NXT title. this is going to be a very interesting match because both of these men have been inside the steel before. You guys are probably wondering wait a minute, Nash, what are you talking about? Ever heard of War Games? Well, Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller were on the same team. They were known as Team 2.0, and they teamed up with Carmelo Hayes and Tony D'Angelo to take on Butch, Johnny Gargano, LA Knight, and Tommaso Ciampa, all of which are on the main roster. Butch and LA Knight are on SmackDown. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are on Raw. But Tommaso Ciampa is dealing with an injury. So it's a possibility we could see a DIY reunion at some point, but who the fuck knows. But yeah, while these guys are still in NXT. Never would have guessed, right? Anyway, I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna be a very Smash Mouth, very intense matchup, I'll say, because when it comes to the steel cage match, you can't predict what happens. You know, anytime you get a match like this, you know it's gonna be brutal, and this one might not be any different. But if Grayson Waller is that determined to be NXT champion, don't get me wrong, he has what it takes to be champion. But the problem is that he is so arrogant. He's so arrogant that oftentimes, and we've seen it before, oftentimes his arrogance gets the best of him, and he ends up losing. So it's hard to say whether or not Grayson Waller will win the title. But let's also not forget, Braun Breaker has been champion for almost a year. In fact, he's been champion, I think, since the Raw after WrestleMania last year. Excuse me. And I don't know, man. I think his time might be up. I think his time in the NXT spotlight is up. I think it's time for him to go to the main roster. But Braun Breaker, he ain't gonna let Grayson Waller win the title that easily. So I'm gonna go with Braun Breaker on this one. And now we move into the NXT Women's title, which is a triple threat match between the champion Roxanne Perez and both members of Toxic Attraction, JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. Obviously, we know that their former leader, Mandy Rose, got released from WWE last month, which is unfortunate. But I will admit, even without Mandy Rose, both Jane and Dolan have still proven why they're two of the baddest in NXT. But Roxanne Perez, with her as the champion, she speaks otherwise. But it comes down to who wants it badly, you know? Obviously, both Gigi and JC want the NXT Women's title. The problem is that it's a triple threat, meaning first person to gain pinfall or submission wins, meaning Perez doesn't have to be involved in that decision. For all we know, Jane can pin Dolan, or Dolan can pin Jane, for all we know, but Perez has to pin one of the two to retain her title. So there is no champion's advantage for Roxanne Perez, and that's the biggest downside of Roxanne Perez's run as champion, is that fact right there. I will admit, when we had that Battle Royal a few weeks ago, and both Jane and Dolan eliminated each other, I think they meant to. In my opinion, I think they meant to do that just so they can become the winners of that Battle Royal, which is kind of bullshit. Although, to be fair, we did get that before. I think in 1994, with Bret Hart and Lex Luger in the Royal Rumble match, which was which I've seen, in which I've heard stories about it. It was a pretty crazy one. I think Luger lost his opportunity to become WWE champion at WrestleMania 10, but Bret Hart ended up picking up the victory for himself. Which honestly, either one would have been an amazing champion. But But still, this is going to be a very tough battle for Roxanne Perez. But I think Roxanne Perez is more hungry than ever before, because when she competed in the women's Royal Rumble match this past Saturday, that match proved how bad Roxanne Perez wants to be in WWE, how bad she wants to remain NXT Women's Champion, and I think this Saturday she's going to prove it. But with that being said, that brings us to the question of the day, which is this: among the card that we have now for Vengeance Day, what are your guys' predictions for NXT Vengeance Day? Let me know down in the comments below. Excuse me. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. Links will be in the description below. As will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.